Hey, it's Bill with T-Rex Econ. Let's finish this. It's the summer 2017 IGCSE multiple choice question paper 11. Oh, let's go back to 27. 27. Which government policy is most likely to increase the volume of exports? Devaluation looks good. If you devalue your currency, then your products are cheaper in other countries, so you will probably increase the volume of your exports with devaluation. Embargoes are when you refuse to ship or refuse to accept imports or exports, so that won't help the volume of exports. Quotas are a limit in the number of products, so that won't increase the volume of exports. And usually you place quotas on imports, but you can also place a quota on an export. Tariffs. No, a tariff is a tax on imports. So if another country puts a tariff on a government's exports, then they will export less. The price will increase and the demand will be less and they will export less. So the answer was easy. It was A for 27. 28. What is necessarily involved in international free trade, or what must we have in international free trade? A, well, the absence of transport costs, but we must bear or we must pay the transport costs, so no. B is nonsense. The gift of foreign aid from charities, that's nonsense. C, C is also nonsense. The supply of zero interest rate government loans. No, you don't need that for international free trade. And so it must be D, the unrestricted exchange of goods and services. Yes, D. And maybe this requires more explanation. When they talk about free trade, they mean completely free trade. No tariffs, no quotas, no restrictions of any kind. So free trade, completely free trade, is the unrestricted exchange of goods and services. The rest were nonsense for 28. The answer is D. 29. In recent years, the U.S. has experienced a deficit on its overall current account of the balance of payments. Okay, a deficit means they are importing more than they export. What could have led to an increase in the size of the deficit? So we're importing even more than before. A, increased competitiveness of goods made in the U.S. No, that would increase exports, which would reduce the deficit on the current account. B, increased earnings by U.S. investors in foreign companies. No, that would imply greater exports. So greater exports, and then the U.S. investors have foreign currency to invest in foreign companies. So B is not the answer. C is increased numbers of overseas visitors to the U.S. And that's tourism, right? Well, tourism is actually like exporting a service. So if more people visit the U.S., that's an increase, a benefit for the current account. That's an export. So no, so the answer must be D, increased spending on U.S. military bases abroad. This is true. So there are U.S. military bases in other countries, like Germany, for example. And when U.S. military people go to the other countries, they spend money. And that's export. That's exporting money, right? That's buying something overseas. If I visit Europe on a vacation and I spend money, that's an import for, that's an export for Europe. I visit Europe, I spend money. That's an export for Europe. I'm spending my money there. So if U.S. military people go to another country and spend money there, that's also an export for that country. It doesn't matter if you're working or on vacation. So 29D, the answer is D. Number 30. Oh, in 2015, China was the world's largest exporter. Let's see. According to economic theory, I'll skip that. What would have been a consequence of this devaluation? Oh, China devalued the renminbi by 2%. A consequence would be devaluation. They would probably increase their exports, right? But A says China paid less in foreign currencies for imports, but the opposite is true. If your currency devalues, then your currency is worth less, so you must pay more RMB for the foreign currency for imports. 30, let's see, B, China reduced its demand for oil and minerals. Well, so C is not true, because when you devalue your currency, your exports become a little more competitive. The price is a little bit lower. So it's not C. It's not A. China's trading partners improved their balance of trade with China. No, the opposite would be true. So I guess it must be B. China reduces its demand for oil and minerals. If China imports oil and minerals, then the price is higher for them because they devalued the yuan. So if before some oil per 10 liters of oil, if before China paid 100 yuan per 10 liters of oil, and then after they devalued their currency, now they need to pay 102 for 10 liters of oil, then the price is higher. So what happens when you increase the price of something? Supply, demand. This is just working, right? This is just a graph to solve this problem. If your price is higher for whatever reason, then you're going to buy less. So 30, the answer is B. Maybe that answer is not obvious. So that was fun. If you have any questions on any of these, you can ask in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you have any other questions, maybe I could answer those. The rest is blank pages, so you can do some rough work. And that's the end of this summer 2017 multiple choice question paper 11.